at a time, the days goes on, never can change, never want to wait, 'cause we know what they wanna take away. Together we stand, together we side by side. We'll never surrender our life. We'll never give up in the game. Voices echoing peace, seek compassion. Every time is a brand new show. Every day is a brand new world. 'Cause we have sort of vision. What we need, what they need. Healing heart, save our society. We'll never surrender our life. We'll never give up in the game. Voices echoing peace, take compassion, human right. Every time is a brand new show. Every day is a brand new world. 'Cause we have such a vision. What we need, what they need. Every time is a brand new show. Every day is a brand new world. 'Cause we have such a vision. What we need, what their needs. Healing heart, healing heart, healing heart, healing heart, healing heart, healing heart. Save our society.
In a nation of more than 17,000 islands, where diversity defines identity, Indonesia continues to redefine the meaning of justice. Under the Ministry of Immigration and Corrections, led by Minister Agus Andrianto, the Indonesia correctional system carries a responsibility far greater than confinement. Today, 628 correctional institutions stand across the nation. Probation offices, detention centers, correctional facilities, and juvenile institutions, each playing a role in preparing individuals for a return to society. Indonesia's correctional system is not solely focused on punishment. It emphasizes personal development and self-reliance, preparing individuals to reintegrate responsibly into society. This approach can be seen at Bali Narcotic Prison, where assimilation and education, or SIA, form the core of rehabilitation. Various vocational training programs are implemented, ranging from asparagus cultivation, culinary arts, screen printing, laundry services, to fashion and tailoring. Completing a sentence does not mean the journey ends. Former inmates are not released and left behind. Through probation offices, continuous guidance and supervision are provided, ensuring a sustainable path toward reintegration. At the House of Hope or Gria Abipraya, recovery and social reintegration are carried out step by step and long term. This is the direction of Indonesia correctional reform, a commitment that will be presented to the world through the 7th World Congress on Probation and Parole, taking place from April 14 to 17, 2026 in Bali, Indonesia as the proud host nation. The forum will bring together correctional practitioners, academics, and policymakers from across the world. Together, we build a correctional system that offers second chances, because every person deserves a second chance. See you in Bali on 7th World Congress on Probation and Parole.
Goes on, never can change, never want to wait, 'cause we know what they wanna take away. Together we stand, together we side by side. Surrender, we'll never give up. Voices echoing peace, the compassion, human rights. Every time is a brand new show, every day is a brand new world, 'cause we have some vision, what we need, what they need. Healing heart, safer society. We'll never surrender, we'll never give up. Voices echoing peace, the compassion, human rights. Every time is a brand new show, every day is a brand new world, 'cause we have sort of vision, what we need, what they need. Every time is a brand new show, every day is a brand new world, 'cause we have sort of vision, what we need, what they need. Healing heart, healing heart, healing heart, safer society.
Ladies and gentlemen, Minister of Immigration and Correction of the Republic of Indonesia is entering the hall. Please rise.
Hadirin dimohon berdiri. National Anthem Republic of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya.
Menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan Indonesia Raya.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Hadirin disilakan duduk kembali. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a profound honor to welcome you to the opening ceremony of the 7th World Congress on Probation and Parole 2026.
Let me tell you a story about a nation of thousands of islands, where nature and culture intertwine in perfect harmony. That country is called Indonesia.
Sungguh indah tanah air beta.
Beyond its beauty, Indonesia holds something deeper. Centuries-old wisdom passed down through generations. Values of togetherness, deliberation, and mutual cooperation. When conflict arises, people do not always choose punishment. They choose dialogue. They choose understanding. They choose to find solutions together. Through a more humane approach, the law begins to change. Not every mistake must end behind bars. Today, these values are rising once again, finding their place within the national legal system. There are still other paths, probation and parole. Because justice is not only about punishment, it is about healing, rebuilding trust, restoring balance. This is not merely a matter of law. This is about creating a safer society.
Masa depan hukum pidana dunia sedang bertransformasi kepada keadilan restoratif. Maka peran pembimbing pemasyarakatan menjadi strategi sebagai pilar utama dalam mewujudkannya.
Indonesia sejak dulu kala tetap dipuja bangsa.
Incarceration should be a last resort for offender, where all law enforcement work together to ensure that every offender receives a proportionate sanction.
Honorable guests, now we have a special dance performance convey that maintaining balance of nature is a shared responsibility and preserving tradition helps sustain harmony in life. With the spirit of probation and parole, we proudly present you the journey of second chance.
It's a brand new show. Every day's a brand new world. 'Cause we have sort of vision, what we need, what they need. Every time it's a brand new show. Every day's a brand new world. 'Cause we have sort of vision, what we need, what they need. Healing heart, savor society.
Lamakan tan keneng sot-sot upodrawo ore pada niru paduka betaru Angyang sunyantara adi gelap sumerasa anu suping rayu waraja wadon Orgot keneroik kang porosiwi Papa Itu bayu akatu Palintak terang ganu Muang ke suryo jodro Sang Hyang Kawiswara tansah hamungul punang tatu carita yayan sang apel kawin nursitu nanging natanan wanen caritane Sang Rama Bargawa Amrih dirtu lama kana sida anyupat malah petakaneng jagat raya wahyu diat saksana mija. Santi.
And what's it? We will never surrender. We will never give up. Voices echoing peace, the compassion, human rights.
Apa kabar? What I value most about the World Congress on Probation and Parole is the reminder that no one system has all the answers, and that our progress depends on our willingness to learn from one another, and to stay certain, and to stay curious, not certain. The future of the field must more intentionally include the voices of those with lived experience, not just as subjects of our systems, but as partners in improving them. We are seeing important shifts towards desistance, trauma-informed practice, and neuroscience, helping us better understand how people change and how we can support that change more effectively. And in this work, we must always remember, there's no them, there's only us.
Our journey began in London back in 2013. Since then, through Los Angeles, Tokyo, Sydney, Ottawa, and The Hague, we deepened our learning and strengthened our bonds. Through the sharing of knowledge, the World Congress has contributed to the advancement of probation services globally. The World Congress is a place for reunion and a place to meet new people. Just as solidarity and commitment are key to effective offender rehabilitation in each community, let us strengthen our solidarity and commitment across the world as well.
My name is Ferry van Aarten. I am a manager at the Dutch Probation Service. In 2011, I traveled through Indonesia to search for my Indonesian roots, and I discovered Indonesia's probation system. That sparkled a dream of building some kind of bridge between the two countries. Today, with the tremendous effort of my beautiful colleagues, this dream is real. My hope is simple: to grow probation worldwide as a smart and humane system to build safer societies. And I am proud, as a Dutchman with Indonesian roots, that Indonesia has taken its place in this global community. Terima kasih.
The woman who once felt uncertain about the future, who constantly asks, "What will my life become?" are now here, standing as a part of change. Not only for myself, but also for those friends who have returned to society, and for those who are still behind the bars. My presence here today is to share the impact of rehabilitation process that embrace human-centered approach. That journey has motivated me to continue creating a circle of connection through a community called Unbound. So let us be present. Let us create connection so others can grow. Healing heart for safer society.
Raise your voice and sing with us!
Every time it's a brand new
your hands together for our performers.
Tepuk tangan yang paling meriah Bapak Ibu sekalian. Thank you. What an outstanding performance. Thank you. Terima kasih teman-teman sekalian. Kalian keren, luar biasa. Thank you. Boleh silakan kembali. Thank you. Please kali return to your seat.
And also the representative of expert of probation and parole from all over the world. Thank you very much.
Wow, keren banget. It's cool and great performance. And I just wonder who they are. I mean, all the performers.
Well, our distinguished guests, for your information, all of the performers are the inmates and parolees from Kerobokan Prison, Bali Women Prison, and also Bali Probation and Parole Office.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, also Echi, even the song which titled Save a Society was written and composed by the talented parolee. And also the decoration of this conference building, right from the main entrance to the very end, was made by the inmates and parolees from Bali.
And another thing, ladies and gentlemen, the decoration behind you, maybe you can see it after it's already, yep, okay, brighter. It's a giant kite, yes, here from there, okay. It's a giant kite called Layangan Janggan, which represent Taksu, the spiritual strength and natural energy of Bali, based on the concept of Trihita Karana.
The Dutch to Japanese colonial era. The history of the correctional system in Indonesia traces back from the Dutch colonial period through the Japanese occupation. At the time, sentencing was not merely a punishment, but a tool to spread fear. Prisoners were exiled, separated from social life, as if forgotten. However, time marched on. The system shifted. First labor prisons were abandoned, replaced by strafhefenhenissen, places for serving sentences with an evolving approach. The era of correctional conferences. Until finally, a glimmer of hope arrived. Under the leadership of the Minister of Justice of the Republic of Indonesia, Saharjo, a new concept was introduced for the first time. No longer prison, but correctional. At its peak, on April 27, 1964, in Lembang, Bandung, the Conference of the Prison Department affirmed the birth of the correctional system in Indonesia, a historic milestone that shifted the direction from punishing to rehabilitating. The current era. Today, under the Direktorat Jenderal of Corrections of the Ministry of Immigration and Corrections, the transformation continues to move forward. Correctional institutions, state detention centers, and correctional centers have become places for rehabilitation, guidance, and hope. Various innovations have also emerged, started from the Stay Alert program in 2001, the Zero Cash Circulation program to eliminate loopholes for illegal levies in 2004, Correctional Order and Discipline Month in 2007, Industrial Corrections and Inmate Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises in 2011, the glorification of bureaucratic reform, enhancing the fulfillment of inmates' rights through information technology via the Correctional Database System in 2013, getting to zero Halinar, eradicating cell phones, illegal levies, and narcotics in 2015. 3 pillars of advanced corrections plus back to basics in 2020. Now, corrections is entering a new chapter through the acceleration programs of the Ministry of Immigration and Corrections, as well as strengthening through the enactment of the new Criminal Code and Criminal Procedure Code and the implementation of the alternative sentencing. Correction is here, answering the challenges of the times. At this point, correction stands as the final guardian of the criminal justice system, not merely to execute sentences, but to ensure that every rehabilitation process is truly meaningful. Because in the end, correction serves as a place to guide, nurture, and mentor inmates to become individuals who are beneficial to society.
Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu. This is Balinese welcome greetings, means may God bless all of us here. Namo Buddhaya, Shalom, greetings of virtue.
Distinguished guests, global leaders, practitioners, and change makers from across the world. Welcome to paradise. Welcome to Bali, Indonesia for the 7th World Congress on Probation and Parole 2026.
First of all, allow us to mention our honorable leaders, Minister of Immigration and Correction, Mr. Agus Andrianto. Selamat sore Bapak. Terima kasih telah berkenan untuk hadir di acara kita pada sore hari ini. Director Jenderal of Corrections, Director Jenderal of Immigrations, Governor of Bali, Head of High Prosecutors of Bali,
Chief of Bali Regional Police, Head of High Court of Bali, and local leaders of Bali, Deputy of Politics, Law, Security and Human Rights, Deputy of Coordinating Immigration and Corrections, Directors from Direktorat Jenderal of Corrections, Head of Regional Office, and all distinguished delegates, guests, ladies and gentlemen.
It is a profound honor for us. My name is Putu Desi.
And my name is Awan.
To be the MC of this wonderful conference with the theme Getting Smart on Justice, Healing Hearts, and Safer Societies. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we kindly invite Director General of Correction, Mr. Masudi, to deliver the report of the program.
Kami mengundang Direktur Jenderal Pemasyarakatan Bapak Masudi untuk menyampaikan laporan kegiatan. Dengan hormat, disilakan.
Lampunya sudah nyalain. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore, salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Yang sama-sama kita hormati Menteri Imigrasi dan Pemasyarakatan Republik Indonesia, Bapak Jenderal Polisi Purnawirawan Dr. Andes Agus Andrianto, SHM. Yang kami hormati Gubernur Bali, Bapak Dr. Iwayan Koster, MM, beserta para Forkopimda Bali. Yang kami hormati Deputi Bidang Koordinasi Keimigrasian dan Pemasyarakatan, Bapak Iwayan Gede Surya, Mataram, SHMH. Yang kami hormati Direktur Jenderal Imigrasi, Bapak Hendrasam Manantoko, SHMH. Yang kami hormati Ketua Konferensi Probasi Eropa, Ibu Anne De Vos, yang hadir, para perwakilan delegasi dari 44 negara dengan peserta 433 peserta. Yang kami hormati Guru Besar Kriminologi FISIP Universitas Indonesia, Profesor Adrianus Malelala yang hadir pada kesempatan untuk sore hari ini, para pimpinan tinggi Pratama lingkungan Kementerian Imigrasi dan Pemasyarakatan, para kantor wilayah Direktorat Jenderal Pemasyarakatan seluruh Indonesia, kepada UPT Pemasyarakatan wilayah Bali, para pimpinan organisasi internasional akademisi, dan para praktisi pemasyarakatan serta seluruh panitia dan mitra kerja pendukung acara WCPP, serta para hadirin yang kami hormati. Pertama-tama marilah kita panjatkan puji syukur kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, karena atas izin dan karunia-Nya kita dapat berkumpul dalam rangka penyelenggaraan 7 tahun World Congress on Probation and Parole pada tahun 2026 yang diselenggarakan di Bali mulai tanggal 14 sampai 16 April 2026. Merupakan suatu kehormatan besar bagi Indonesia menjadi tuan rumah bagi forum strategi berskala internasional ini. Bapak Ibu sekalian yang kami hormati, Kongres ini mengangkat tema peran pembimbingan dan pembebasan bersyarat, penegakan hukum yang cerdas, pemulihan kemanusiaan, dan masyarakat yang aman. Tema ini mencerminkan komitmen global untuk menerapkan strategi probasi yang berbasis bukti guna menggunakan perilaku kriminal secara efektif, sekaligus memperkuat proses pemulihan sosial agar warga binaan dapat diterima kembali sebagai bagian dari masyarakat yang aman. Maksud dan tujuan kegiatan ini adalah yang pertama menjadi forum pertukaran pengetahuan dan perkembangan global di bidang pemasyarakatan khusus mengenai pidana alternatif. Yang kedua, meningkatkan kerjasama internasional dan meningkatkan perkuat kapasitas para praktisi dalam memberikan pendampingan yang efektif khusus bagi masyarakat. Kegiatan ini diikuti oleh 435 peserta dari 40 negara yang terdiri dari para pembuat kebijakan, praktisi, akademisi, serta mitra internasional. Rangkaian kegiatan ini meliputi sesi pleno, diskusi, tematik, dan studi lapangan pada Gereja Abiraya Pasraman Garukala Karangasem dan Lapas Narkotika Kelas 2 Bangli yang menampilkan praktek pemasyarakatan terbaik di Indonesia. Adapun target yang diharapkan, terciptanya rekomendasi kebijakan global yang inovatif, penguatan jaringan kerjasama antar negara, serta pemahaman yang lebih mendalam mengenai praktek terbaik dalam rehabilitasi dan reintegrasi sosial. Bapak Menteri yang kami hormati, perlu kami sampaikan bahwa penyelenggaraan kegiatan ini juga ditampilkan galeri hasil karya warga binaan dari 33 kantor wilayah Direktorat Jenderal Pemasyarakatan se-Indonesia yang menghadirkan beragam produk unggulan berupaya efisien kain seperti batik, kain tenun, ekspor kerajinan anyaman, rotan, bambu, serta produk lainnya seperti kopi dan kia kreatif. Produk-produk ini tersebut mencerminkan profesi keterampilan serta hasil pembinaan kemandirian yang memiliki nilai ekonomi dan daya saing. Selain itu, kegiatan ini turut melibatkan kontribusi aktif dari 261 orang warga binaan yang berperan dalam mendukung rangkaian acara melalui penampilan seni tari, seni musik, hingga keterlibatan dalam tim dekorasi. Seluruh instrumen tersebut yang Bapak Ibu saksikan merupakan karya dari warga binaan Bali yang disiapkan melalui proses pembinaan dan pendampingan oleh petugas pemasyarakatan. Partisipasi ini mencerminkan hasil dari dalam pengembangan potensi warga binaan serta kesiapan mereka kembali ke masyarakat secara produktif dan bermanfaat. Bapak Menteri yang kami hormati, demikian laporan yang kami sampaikan. Untuk itu kami mohon dengan hormat kepada Bapak Menteri untuk berkenan memberikan sambutan sekaligus secara resmi membuka kongres hari ini. Sekian dan terima kasih. Saya akhiri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih banyak Bapak atas sambutannya. Thank you, Mr. Director.
Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now proceed with the welcoming remarks by the Minister of Immigration and Correction, the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Agus Andrianto, and officially declare the 7th World Congress on Probation and Parole 2026 with the striking of the gong.
Kami mengundang Bapak Menteri untuk menyampaikan sambutan sekaligus membuka konferensi secara resmi dengan pemukulan gong. Dengan hormat disilahkan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Yang saya hormati Ibu Ani Devos, Ketua Konfederasi Probasi Eropa, beserta seluruh delegasi dan perwakilan dari 44 negara. Bapak Dr. Iwayan Koster MM, Gubernur Bali, beserta Forum Komunikasi Pimpinan Daerah Provinsi Bali. Bapak Profesor Dr. Adrianus Meliala, Guru Besar Kriminologi, Ilmu Sosial, dan Ilmu Politik Universitas Indonesia. Bapak Inyoman Gede Surya Mataram, Deputi Bidang Koordinasi Keimigrasian dan Pemasyarakatan. Para pimpinan tinggi madya dan pratama di lingkungan Kementerian Imigrasi dan Pemasyarakatan. Para Kakanwil, Direktorat Jenderal Pemasyarakatan se-Indonesia, Kepala UPT Pemasyarakatan Wilayah Bali, serta para akademisi, peneliti, praktisi, serta seluruh peserta Kongres Dunia Pemasyarakatan dan yang ketujuh yang saya hormati. Puji syukur, marilah kita panjatkan kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa. Atas rahmat dan karunia-Nya, kita dapat hadir dalam forum ilmiah yang bergengsi. Saya merasa bangga sekaligus terharu di tengah eskalasi geopolitik global yang terjadi saat ini. Teman-teman dari mancanegara masih meluangkan waktu hadir untuk mengikuti acara kongres yang kita laksanakan pada hari ini. Hadirin yang berbahagia, seperti yang sama-sama ketahui, World Congress on Probation and Parole merupakan perhelatan bergengsi yang dilaksanakan setiap 2 tahun sekali. Kongres ini juga merupakan epicentrum diskursus bagi para pembuat kebijakan, praktisi, dan peneliti yang berdedikasi pada bidang pemasyarakatan, balai pemasyarakatan, dan keadilan berbasis masyarakat. Sebuah kehormatan bagi Indonesia dipercaya menjadi tuan rumah kegiatan ke-7 World Congress on Probation and Parole. Dipilihnya Bali sebagai tempat pelaksanaan kongres tidak terlepas dari daya tarik budaya dan alam yang dimiliki oleh Bali, serta pengalaman Bali dalam menyelenggarakan konferensi-konferensi tingkat dunia seperti penyelenggaraan G20 dan World Water Forum dan konferensi tingkat dunia lainnya. Bali juga merupakan representasi wajah Indonesia di mana tradisi dan kearifan lokal berjalan seiring dan selaras dengan modernitas. Dengan modalitas tersebut, kami berharap dapat menyuguhkan suasana yang hangat untuk diskusi dan sharing pengalaman cross-culture exchange bagi peserta kongres. Hadirin yang berbahagia, tema sentral yang diusung pada perhelatan 7th World Congress on Probation and Parole adalah Getting Smart on Justice, Healing Heart, and Safer Society. Tema tersebut diusung karena merepresentasikan dinamika perkembangan sistem pemasyarakatan, pembebasan bersyarat, dan pidana alternatif yang terjadi pada saat ini, baik dalam lingkup nasional maupun internasional. Konsep Getting Smart on Justice menggambarkan adanya transisi dari pendekatan retributif yang kaku dan keras menuju pendekatan yang lebih cerdas yang berbasis data dan bukti ilmiah. Dengan demikian, sistem pemasyarakatan tidak hanya berfokus pada upaya pembejaraan semata, tetapi juga mempertimbangkan upaya alternatif yang lebih efisien dan cost efektif dalam merespons suatu tindak pidana tanpa mereduksi esensi dari nilai-nilai keadilan. Sementara konsep Healing Heart yang diangkat dalam tema kongres ini mengingatkan kita pada doktrin restorative justice, di mana hukum tidak lagi dipandang sebagai instrumen pembalasan, melainkan sebagai sarana reintegrasi sosial. Sistem penghukuman tidak semata-mata berorientasi pada pemenjaraan, tetapi juga pada pemulihan, baik bagi pelaku, korban, maupun masyarakat. Dengan adanya pemulihan tersebut, diharapkan adanya pemulihan hati maupun pemulihan hubungan yang retak akibat terjadinya suatu tindak pidana, guna kembali tercapainya harmoni sosial. Pada akhirnya, tujuan akhir kita adalah mewujudkan masyarakat yang lebih aman, safer society, melalui pendampingan, pembimbingan, dan pengawasan yang dilakukan oleh Bapas, guna mencapai tujuan utama, yakni memutus mata rantai residivisme sehingga tercipta masyarakat yang lebih aman. Tentunya hal ini akan terlaksana dengan baik dengan adanya sinergi yang kuat antara penegak hukum, pemerintah, masyarakat, dan seluruh pemangku kepentingan. Hadirin sekalian, saya mengapresiasi penyelenggaraan kongres ini sebagai forum strategis untuk merumuskan, merekomendasikan kebijakan yang konstruktif, aplikatif, dan memiliki pijakan akademis yang kuat. Saya berharap hasil kongres ini dapat memberikan kontribusi nyata dalam mengembangkan dan memperkuat bidang pemasyarakatan, pembebasan bersyarat, dan pidana alternatif. Akhirnya, dengan mengucap Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, acara 7 tahun World Congress on Probation and Parole secara resmi saya nyatakan dibuka. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om.
Terima kasih Bapak, mohon berkenan untuk tetap di atas panggung untuk dilanjutkan dengan prosesi pemukulan gong. Dengan hormat kami mengundang untuk mendampingi Direktur Jenderal Pemasyarakatan, Direktur Jenderal Imigrasi, Gubernur Bali sebagai perwakilan unsur Forkopimda. Kami persilakan untuk mengambil tempat di atas panggung.
We also invite President of Confederation of European Probation as a founder of WCPP, Ms. Amy Davos, to come to the stage to accompany the strike of the gong.
Mohon izin Bapak, kami akan pandu. On my count please. In 3, 2, and 1.
With the striking of the gong, 7th World Congress on Probation and Parole 2026 is officially open.
Baik, mohon diabadikan dalam foto bersama terlebih dahulu. Rekan-rekan media kami persilakan untuk dapat mengabadikan. Kami pandu. 1, 2, 3. Sekali lagi dalam hitungan. 1, 2, 3. Baik, terima kasih. Thank you. We kindly request you to please be seated.
Our distinguished participants, we kindly invite you to rise for a group photo session with the Minister. Hadirin dimohon berdiri.
Kita akan abadikan Bapak Menteri izin dengan seluruh peserta untuk berfoto bersama dari tempat duduk masing-masing. Ya. Kita akan berfoto bersama dengan seluruh peserta. Untuk Bapak Ibu undangan, silakan untuk berdiri. Ya, rekan-rekan media silakan untuk dapat mengambil gambar dari atas panggung. Kita akan mulai dengan formal pose terlebih dahulu. We will start with the formal pose. Just please keep smiling, ladies and gentlemen. Oke, kameramen sudah siap semua ya. Kami izin untuk memandu kembali dalam hitungan 1, 2, 3. Baik, satu pose lagi untuk semangat probation and parole. Boleh dengan tangan dikepalkan sebagai tanda penuh semangat.
Put your hands in front of your body like this.
Yes, please. Okay, like that. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
On my
thank
count,
you.
please. One more time. 1, 2, and 3. Keep smiling. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You kindly please be seated. Rekan-rekan media, terima kasih. Silakan kembali ke tempat.
Thank you for your good cooperation. Please be seated.
Bapak Ibu sekalian, demikianlah rangkaian acara pembukaan The Seventh World Congress on Probation and Parole 2026. Sekali lagi kami mengaturkan terima kasih sebesar-besarnya kepada Menteri Imigrasi dan Pemasyarakatan yang telah berkenan hadir dan membuka acara pada hari ini. Selanjutnya kepada Bapak Menteri kami persilakan untuk dapat melanjutkan dengan agenda kegiatan berikutnya.
Minister of Immigration and Correction is leaving the hall. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated as we will proceed to the next program.
Coordinating Minister of Law, Human Rights, Immigration and Correction, Professor Yusril Iza Mahendra is entering the hall. Please rise.
Hadirin dimohon berdiri. Selamat datang kami ucapkan kepada Menteri Koordinator Bidang Hukum, Hak Asasi Manusia, Imigrasi dan Pemasyarakatan, Profesor Yusril Iza Mahendra di Seventh World Congress on Probation and Parole 2026.
Thank you. Please be seated. Terima kasih. Silakan duduk kembali. Good afternoon again, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a great honor that Coordinating Minister of Law, Human Rights, Immigration and Correction of the Republic of Indonesia is pleased to attend this conference. And now we kindly invite the Director General of Correction, Mr. Hudi to deliver his speech.
Kami mengundang dengan hormat Direktur Jenderal Pemasyarakatan untuk menyampaikan sambutannya. Dengan hormat disilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore, salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Nama Budaya, salam kebajikan. Yang sama-sama kita hormati Menteri Koordinator Bidang Hukum, Hak Asasi Manusia, Imigrasi dan Pemasyarakatan, Profesor Dr. Yusril Isa Mahendra, SHMSc. Yang kami hormati para pejabat pimpinan tinggi kementerian, yang kami hormati Ketua Konferensi Probasi Eropa, Chief Ibu Anne de Vos, para perwakilan dan delegasi 44 negara, dan para narasumber, mitra kerja, serta seluruh hadirin yang berbahagia. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, melanjutkan rangkaian kegiatan ini, kami kembali menyambut kehadiran Bapak Ibu sekalian serta menyampaikan apresiasi atas komitmen bersama dalam memperkuat peran pemasyarakatan dalam sistem peradilan. Pemasyarakatan kini menghadapi berbagai tantangan global yang semakin rumit seperti tingkat angka hunian dan tuntutan untuk membuat pemindahan lebih efektif dalam menurunkan angka residivis serta menjaga keamanan masyarakat. Dalam situasi ini, pemasyarakatan difokuskan sebagai alat strategi yang bertujuan mengubah perilaku serta memperkuat proses reintegrasi sosial. Selain itu, kebijakan pemasyarakatan Indonesia terus mendorong melalui pendekatan berbasis bukti, penguatan pengawasan, berbasis masyarakat, serta kolaborasi lintas sektoral yang terintegrasi. Untuk memperkaya prospektif dan memperkuat arah kebijakan tersebut, pada kesempatan ini kami akan mendengarkan keynote speak dari Menteri Koordinator Hukum dan Hak Asasi Manusia, Imigrasi dan Pemasyarakatan Republik Indonesia. Kepada Bapak Menteri Koordinator dan kami hormati, kami berkenan untuk menyampaikan keynote speak. Demikian kami sampaikan, kami ucapkan terima kasih. Saya akhiri, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Bapak untuk sambutan yang telah disampaikan.
It is now our distinct privilege to invite the Coordinating Minister of Law, Human Rights, Immigration and Corrections, Professor Yusril Iza Mahendra, to deliver his keynote speech.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all delegates and participants from across the world who are present in Bali today. It is a privilege for me to host the 7th International Congress under the theme Getting Smart on Justice, Healing Hurt, and Safer Societies. The theme is not only compelling from academic perspective, but also highly relevant to the term of public policy is invite to rethink the relationship between justice, recovery, reintegration, and public safety as a cohesive unit. This theme also carries a very important message. In the 21st century, justice can no longer be understood merely as the state's ability to impose punishment. The state's capability to strike a balance between accountability, protecting victims, ensuring public safety, respective human dignity, and responsibility for rehabilitation for those who have offended is a further aspect of justice. In other words, smart justice is not only really in normative sense, but also institutionally mature, ethically clear, and socially reasonable. I stand here before you today as the Senior Minister for Law, Human Rights, Immigration and Corrections of the Republic of Indonesia. This is not a position confined a single technical sectors under our constitutional and governmental framework. It is the position responsible for synchronizing and coordinating the implementation of government affairs in the areas of law, human rights, immigration, and corrections, including interministerial and intergovernment bodies coordination. The perspective I will present this evening is one of policy architecture, examining how probation and parole fit into modern rule of law framework that prioritize human dignity, public safety, and effective justice governance. In a forum such as this, my role is certainly not set out technical operational details that fall within the authority of implementing agencies on the ground. My task is to situate the discussions within broader context, encompassing the trajectory of the legal system reform, the state effort to balance law enforcement with the human rights, the development of cross-sectoral coordination that move beyond rhetoric, and Indonesia's approach to incorporating probation, parole, and community-based corrections into rational and law-governed state framework. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, this forum matters precisely because today's world is facing realities that are far from simple. On the one hand, societies worldwide demand the state to be firm in addressing crime, responsive to victims, and capable of maintaining public order. However, there is growing recognition that criminal justice systems that rely almost exclusively on improvement do not always deliver better justice, reduce recidivism, and strengthens public safety in long run. Consequently, many countries have begun reassessing their views on punishment, rehabilitation, and reintegration. This development suggests that the central questions in contemporary criminal justice is no longer simply now the state punishes, but how it wisely punishes. The issue is no longer merely how the state demonstrates its authority, how that authority is exercised rationally, proportionally, and in a manner that can be justified. It is, at this point, probation, parole, and various forms of community correction acquire even more compelling relevance. Therefore, I consider that probation and parole are not peripheral instruments within justice system. In fact, they are among the measures of maturity. A mature state is not one that only knows now to penalize, but on that also know how to exercise firmness while serving justice, directing criminal responsibility to punish, correct, restore, and rehabilitate individuals to become responsible members of society again. The notion of stress is because public discourse is often constrained by overly simplistic binary oppositions. implying a choice between permanence and compassion, public security and rehabilitation, justice for the victims, and a second chance for perpetrators. I argue that the mature and modern law-governed state must move beyond fast opposition. It must be able to design a system that is firm without being brutal, human without being naive, and open to reintegration while remaining discipline in supervision and accountability. In Indonesia, this perspective doesn't emerge in a vacuum. Our National Development Agenda under 2025-2029 National Medium-Term Development Plan placed the establishment of transparent, fair, and impartial rule of law among its central objectives. This means that the legal reform must not be understood barely as procedural reform, let alone as a mere addition or new regulation. Legal reform must enhance the quality of the rule of law, governance, and human dignity protection in public life. In that sense, the legal reform is concerned not only with the text of the statutes, but also with institutional ethos. It concerns how officials work, how citizens experience justice, how victims are treated, how data are used, how discretion is exercised, and how the success of public policy is measured. A country can have numerous laws and regulations, but if they are not complemented by the strong moral compass and effective institutional collaboration, they may be ineffective. Corrections hold a strategic position within the criminal law. Law number 22 of 2022 affirmed that the correctional system is a comprehensive framework for managing detainees, juveniles, and inmates, conducted throughout services, rehabilitation, community guidance, care, security, and monitoring. Within this system, community guidance officers play a central role in conducting assessment, providing support, providing guidance, and supervising clients. Therefore, community guidance is not merely an add-on to punishment, it is an inherent part of the correctional system itself. However, current realities present significantly challenges. The total numbers of inmates has reached more than 270,000, comprising 215,000 convicted prisoners and 56,000 detainees, far exceeding the official capacity of only 150,000. This represents an overcrowding rate of approximately 81%, resulting in congested facilities, high recidivism, and substantial social burdens. These conditions underscore the critical importance of correctional guidance. By making it a core component of the system, the law recognizes that punishment doesn't end with a verdict. A criminal sentence marks a crucial milestone, but it is not the final point. Ensuring that inmates are properly rehabilitated, risks are managed, relationships with family and society are restored, behavior is guided constructively, and likelihood or reoffending is effectively minimized is equally important. Furthermore, Indonesia's national criminal law reforms is moving along the same path. The new criminal code, which came into force at the beginning of this year, emphasized the fusion of corrective, restorative, and rehabilitative justice. The new penal code proposes also encompass 4 orientations: preventing crime, reintegrating convicted persons, through guidance, resolving conflict and restoring balance, and relieving the offender's sense of guilt. The underlying point of the significant is the highlight that probation, parole, supervision, and social reintegration are not novel concepts in Indonesian law, but rather aligned with the reform paradigm currently being developed. I wish to emphasize of this. Modern criminal law reform must change not only at the level of language, but also at the level of mindset. If the system orientation was previously overly simplistic, viewing punishment or retribution, we must now be willing to consider its purposes more broadly. The states must continue to uphold the norms. It must still be made clear that violations have consequences. However, the states must also recognize that a healthy social order is not built merely by imprisoning people, but it is also built by ensuring that those who have undergone legal process are given a sensible path back to responsible citizenships. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, a civilization may ultimately be judged by its use of power. In a law-governed state, the power to punish is essential. Therefore, it must be limited by law, guided by rationally, and guarded by the principles of humanity. It is there that human rights acquire the deepest meaning. I do not see human rights standards as an additional burden upon the state, but as an ethical boundary that ensures the law enforcement does not lose its legitimacy. A strong law-governed state cannot act without restraint. On the contrary, it is the state knows how to exercise its authority in a measured manner. It doesn't treat human beings as objects. It is not assumed that all dignity is terribly lost because someone has violated the law. It continues to regard law as an instrument for ordering common life, not as a tool for erasing humanity. At the same time, I must stress that human justice is not weak justice. Intelligent justice is not equivalent to latent justice. Smart justice continues to uphold accountability. It continues to protect victims. It continues to safeguard the public. It allows the state to act firmly in the face of serious crime. However, it rejects simplistic thinking as though every social problem could be solved merely by expanding enforcement. Smart justice begins with a more fundamental question: do the instruments we choose genuinely strengthen social order, reduce the risk of reoffending, and enhance public safety? This is the crucial question for the policymakers. States may easily be tempted to choose policies that appear so on the surface but prove ineffective in the long term. However, one of the core tests of sound public policy is its capacity to address problems substantively, not merely symbolically. If a given instrument appears firm but fails to reduce recidivism, support reintegration, and build a public trust, then a primitive, more effective approach should be considered or integrated. Probation and parole must be seen as part of the public safety ecosystem, not as opposite. Many people still incorrectly perceive community-based approach as a form or leniency that weakens the law. It takes the opposite view. What matters is not whether a policy is labeled soft or hard, but the quality of its design. When assessment or stroke criteria are well defined, supervision is a spark, data and evaluations are accessible, and social support is sufficient, community-based correction can balance two objectives: safeguarding society and facilitating responsible reintegration. In other words, when the state makes room for probation and parole, it doesn't diminish its authority. Rather, it demonstrates maturity in policy. It shows that it is driven not merely by punitive instinct, but by a more developed institutional rationality. It is recognized that sustainable public policy requires more than confinement. It requires risk management, behavioral guidance, restoration, and social ties, and consistent policy coordination. Therefore, one of our major tasks moving forward is to strengthen the professions at the front line of the system. I wish to express my deepest appreciation to the community supervisors, probation officers, parole officers, and all who work at the platform for correction and reintegration. They work in an exceptionally complex field. They must assess risk, understand social background, connect law with the human reality, balance supervision with guidance, and often serve as bridge between the interests of the state, the family, and the society. In many respects, the success of all pillars of reintegration is especially determined by the quality of these professions. They are face of the state, present in the form of sanction and guidance. They must be capable of careful assessment, responsible recommendation, a sound understanding of family and social environment, and the ability to work under often intense public expectations. Therefore, genuine reform must include education, certification, professional ethics, supervision, and institutional capacity strengthening. I believe we all agree that no reform can succeed if those who implement it on the ground are left to work without adequate support. Yes, reform requires not only ideas, but also professions. Reform requires norms, but it also requires people who are trained, trusted, and properly equipped. In this respect, human resources investment is not an additional cost. It is an essential condition if policy is not remain trapped on a paper. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, this Congress also raised the issue of technology and artificial intelligence. I consider this is an important issue. In the 21st century, criminal justice, correction, probation, and parole administration, which increasingly intersects with data system, digital platform, risk analytics, and limited form of automation. Technology can improve data accuracy, accelerate coordination, enhance service quality, and support more orderly decision-making. However, I wish to stress one principle that, in my view, must not be compromised. Technology must never replace the state's moral responsibility. Also, algorithms may assist. They cannot replace the human judgment. Digital systems might accelerate processes, but they must not erode due process. Innovation may be embraced, but not at the expenses of transparency, non-discrimination, and respect for the human dignity. I wish to emphasize this point because we live in a time when technology is often treated as stroke. It were always natural and objective. Yes, technology is only as sound as the governance that surrounds its incomplete data can be misleading. Algorithms can multiply the bias. Accountable digital systems can distance citizens from decision-making processes that affect their life. Therefore, when technology enters the realms of law and corrections, the state must respond with care and not with fascination. This warning is important because justice system cannot operate through numbers alone. Justice operates through human beings. Data matters, empirical evidence is important. The outcome-based evaluation is important. However, human beings cannot be reduced entirely to risk scores, administrative categories, or statistical variables only. Therefore, sound reform must combine evidence with ethics, bringing technocratic precision and institutional wisdom together. In other words, technology must help the state become more just, not merely faster, more precise, yet also more responsible, more modern, but not colder. Without ethics, modernity can easily become injustice accelerated by the systems. Socioeconomic reintegration is another dimension that sometimes receives little attention. A person's former release from the correctional institutions does not necessarily mean that he or she has truly returned to normal social life. The real challenge often follows. Does the individual possess valid identification documents? Is he or she still accepted by their family? Is there access to education, employment, or meaningful activities? Is society willing to provide a second chance? If all these avenues remain inaccessible, then the state has merely relocated the issue from a confined institution to the broader community. Therefore, reintegration must be understood realistically, not sentimentally. It requires social conditions that make change possible. It requires family support, access to training, employment opportunities, social acceptance, proper administrative identity, and mental health support. Without this, a person who has formally completed his or her sentence may remain trapped in social powerlessness, and the risk of reoffending remain high. Reintegration cannot be viewed solely as a matter for one technical agency. It must become a cross-sectoral agenda. It includes education, vocational training, social protection, mental health, civil registration, local government business sectors, civil society organizations, and religious communities. Here, state coordinations become essential. It is also here that the role of a coordinating ministry acquires a practical significance to ensure that the integration agenda does not proceed in a fragmented way, but rather within one connected policy framework. Sectoral tendencies that often weaken outcomes must be overcome from a policy standpoint. One institution might focus on law enforcement, another on guidance, and another on social or employment services. All of these are important. However, if they are used in isolation, the result will remain limited. Successful reintegration always requires continuity. It requires bridge across sectors, policy leadership that is capable of seeing the whole is required, not merely the disconnected parts. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the public trust is one of the most important issues in contemporary correction policy and community corrections. No matter how well regulations are drafted and how strong the academic argument behind them may be, policy will struggle to succeed if the public does not believe that the system operates fairly, measurably, and accountability. A clearer public explanation is therefore needed. Alternatives to enforcement are not denial of justice, but a means of making justice work more rationally and effectively. We must be able to explain that reintegration is not a free gift, but part of the medium and long-term strategy for social security. Public trust is not born of rhetoric. It is born consistency. It is a result of procedural transparency, service quality, the state ability to honestly explain public decisions, and willingness to evaluate itself. Public trust in the field of probation and parole will increase if people see assessment are conducted professionally, supervision is taken seriously, violations are dealt with firmly, and successful reintegration is regarded as a key indicator of policy success. Therefore, our task is not only to design a good policy, but also to build a public language capable of explaining why that policy is good. In a democracy, policy arguments must be answerable not only to the fellow expert, but also to the wider public. The more important a policy is for public safety in the public sense of justice, the more important it is for the state to explain it openly to the public. Simultaneously, we must be humble enough to recognize that no model can simply be copied wholesale from one country to another. Each country has a unique history, legal culture, social structure, and institutional capacity. Therefore, the true value of international forum, such as this, is not to produce a single formula for the entire world, but to broaden the horizon of shared learning. We come to gatherings like this to test ideas, study experiences, and enrich principles that can be translated into each country's context. In that regard, I see international forums such as the WCPP as epistemic and policy dialogue space. We come not only to speak, but also to listen, not only to bring our own experience, but also to remain open to listen from everywhere. In an increasingly interconnected world, the quality of public policy is determined by our ability to learn across contexts without losing the sharpness with which we read our own national realities. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, hosting the Second World Congress of Probation and Parole carries special meaning for Indonesia. It is not merely a ceremonial honor. This is an opportunity to demonstrate that ASEAN countries, including Indonesia, can seriously and constructively contribute to the global discussion on criminal justice reform. This is also a chance for us to learn from the experiences of others while ensuring that the legal reform we pursue stay grounded in our constitutions, the values of the Pancasila, the state of philosophy of this country, the principles of democratic rule of law, and the respect for the human dignity. Pancasila is not only the philosophical foundation for the state, but also an ethical horizon for understanding the relationship between the state, society, and the human being. Commitment to humanity, social justice, deliberation, and civilized common life. Therefore, when Indonesia speaks of a legal reform, correction, and reintegration, we do not see them merely as administrative matters. We see them as a moral and constitutional responsibility to build a fair, safe, and human social order. As the host country, Indonesia now follows the path of previous Congress held in London, Los Angeles, Tokyo, Sydney, Ottawa, and The Hague. This shows that the Congress indeed the important forum in the global conversation on probation and parole. Hosting the event after that distinguished sequence of cities and certainly an honor, but it is also responsibility. The obligation is to make the meaningful contribution rather than simply attending, ensuring that this global conversation yield practical ideas, tangible cooperation, and lasting commitment is a responsibility. Allow me to add one final point, which is of great importance. Many justice discussions tend to focus on institutions, procedures, and norms. All of these points are undoubtedly important. However, beneath them all lies a more fundamental question: how does society regard those who have fallen? Are they seen only problems, or are they still seen as persons who must be held accountable yet retain the possibility of change? The moral quality of a country can be seen in how it answers the question. A major state is not naive about crime, nor cynical about change. It doesn't close its eye to the risk, nor does it shut every door to recovery. It understands that the public safety and human dignity must be designed together within a disciplined, rational, and sustainable policy framework. Therefore, I regard probation and parole as more than administrative mechanism following a judicial decision. The policies reflect a deeper philosophy of law, that the state can be firm yet retain its humanity, preserve public safety without losing its common sense, and uphold the law without foreclosing every possibility for a person to recover and reintegrate. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, we must not be romantic. Not every case is simple. Not every risk is small. Not every offender is ready to able to change quickly. Therefore, careful policy formulation, sharp assessment, discipline, supervision, and accountable governance are still required. However, such caution must not become a total refusal of free interrogation. Vigilance must not become cynicism. Firmness should not become a moral deadlock. What we need is institutional wisdom. Wisdom that distinguishes between genuine and exaggerated threat. Wisdom that knows when the state must detain, guide, and protect, and when it must reopen a path back. In my view, this kind of wisdom must become the soul of the smart justice. In conclusion, I will underline 3 points. First, a healthy justice system cannot be built barely by expanding the capacity to punish. It must also be constructed by enhancing the capability to guide, supervise, restore, and reintegrate. Second, human dignity and public safety are not two goals that cancel each other out. They must be designed together within a careful, proportionate, and accountable policy. Third, the reform of probation, parole, and correction in the 21st century must simultaneously stand on the 3 foundations: evidence, ethics, and coordination. Without evidence, policy becomes a slogan. Without ethics, policy loses legitimacy. Without coordination, policy fragments into sectoral fragmentation that weaken its own outcomes. Without public trust and moral courage, even well-intentioned policies will struggle to bring about the full intended impact, remaining mostly in the air rhetorics that fail to lead to tangible change. Therefore, today's task is not merely to improve system, but also to build the intellectual and institutional courage to determine justice in a more complete terms. I believe that if we sustain these three foundations, coupled with the commitment to professionalism, cross-sectoral coordination, and willingness to learn from one another's experience, then we will not only build more efficient system, we shall also build more just, institutionally mature, morally legitimate, and beneficial system for society. Finally, on behalf of the government of the Republic of Indonesia, I wish you all a successful and fruitful 7th World Congress on Probation and Parole 2026. May this forum produce honest exchange of ideas, meaningful cooperation, and a shared commitment to building justice that is smarter, more human, and better able to keep our society safe. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much for the very insightful keynote speech, Minister. Boleh berkenan kita akan berfoto bersama peserta ya Bapak dari tempat duduk. Ya dari tempat duduk saja.
Our
kita akan
distinguished
berdiri
participants,
lagi.
we kindly invite you to rise for a group photo with Mr. Minister. Please.
Yes, kita berdiri lagi Bapak Ibu sekalian. Kita akan abadikan momen ini bersama Coordinating Minister of Law, Human Rights, Immigration and Correction. Baik, silakan fotografer untuk bersiap-siap di atas panggung. We will do the photo session in 2 sessions like before, okay. First formal pose. Everybody please look at to the cameras. Keep smiling. Okay, on my count. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Another one, like previously. Yes, semangat. Okay. Boleh lihat ke kamera dengan wajah bersemangat. On my count, one more time. 1, 2, and 3. Sudah dapat? Oke, terima kasih. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Thank you for your good cooperation. You may be seated.
Okay, our beloved guests, ladies and gentlemen, that session concludes our last session for today's program. And we hope you find these next 4 days in Bali to be a transformative experience and also collaboration and innovation.
After this, as I mentioned before, we will gather for welcome reception dinner at the Heritage Garden. My name is Awan.
And I'm Putu Desi, your master ceremony. We hope you enjoy your dinner at the Heritage Garden. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Shanti 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 Om.
Thank you.
Yes, one more time, ladies and gentlemen. After this, please proceed to the Heritage Garden for the welcome reception for all of you. Thank you.
day goes on, never can change, never want to wait, 'cause we know what they wanna take away. Together we stand, together we side by side. We'll never surrender, we'll never give up. Voices echoing peace, the compassion, human rights. Every time is a brand new show, every day is a brand new world, 'cause we have some vision, what we need, what they need, healing heart, safer society. We'll never surrender, we'll never give up. Voices echoing peace, the compassion, human rights. Every time is a brand new show, every day is a brand new world, 'cause we have sort of vision, what we need, what they need. Every time is a brand new show, every day is a brand new world, 'cause we have sort of vision, what we need, what they need, healing heart, healing heart, healing heart, safer society.